Hello. And there was, let me turn down the volume a little. Yeah, I guess it's okay. It was just me turning up my speakers too loud. And then the music stops. Okay. Hello everybody. Welcome to this little stream. The croissant is gone. And that was the last coffee. So how is everybody? Oh, do we have to? Let me see. Oh, this damn Streamlabs bot need to join. Blah, blah, blah. So, the plan today is to create a mod sample project from scratch. Let's see how far we go. I don't know how much time I will have. Maybe an hour. I don't know. But the plan is to do that, and the reason is, of course, that I'm working on mod support, if you didn't know it, but it's actually going pretty great. I just released an update of the mod tools and the game for the closed beta testers only. Sorry, not for you, the most of you yet. Yeah, so that's going pretty great, and my idea is that, of course, I need to create some tutorials and some videos and stuff like that when it comes out, but it's too early to do now because it's still changing a lot, so I won't do that yet. But I think it makes sense to create a project that shows how a mod or multiple mods could be built in Unity, and so that, you know, future modders, like maybe some of you guys here, can download this and see how the mods I have done, you know, coming from, you know, just pretending to be a modder, don't have anything to do with the game, but just coming from a modder's point of view, exactly where you would be, and create this project so you can download that and see how I've done stuff. In the mod tools there currently is some mod samples, but that shows how stuff is built, you know, how a cake or a rocket is built in the game or in a mod. but it doesn't show how a complete mod is set up. So that's what I'm planning to start today. This project I'm working on today will be in a private repo on my GitHub, but eventually when we get closer to when we get this thing on experimental at some point, this will be of course public, so you guys can go in and check it out how things are done. So yeah, I guess that's it. So some questions. Will multiplayer come? Well, multiplayer is on the to-do, but it's not something I plan on looking into in the near future. First of all, this mod support will take a long time to do, because right now I'm focusing on you guys being able to create fireworks, but later on it might also be tools, it might be some game mechanics, it might be some maybe we should take this one. Woo! Some game mechanics, some maps made in mods and stuff like that. So that's mod support. That will take a while. Then I have a lot of other things I want to add to. A lot of different mechanics and new tools and stuff like that in the core game, not as mods, but in the core game. So after I've done with that, I will start to look into multiplayer. And the reason I'm pushing a little ahead is because the other thing are more important, I think, because I don't even know if multiplayer is possible. At least I have to be really careful, because in a very physics-based game like this, multiplayer can be quite a challenge. I know from not experience, but from my research, because I have really very, very little experience with multiplayer. So, but I'm not so afraid of my lack of experience, because I will figure it out, no problem. It's more how the game actually works that is not very suited for multiplayer. But I'm not saying multiplayer is never coming, but it will be a while. Anyway, hello, Dennis, hello, Redbot, hello, Marvin, hello, Mellemlyn, hello, Lucas, hello, Nice, hello, welcome to Brofil, hello, Oscar, the farting man. The farting man, I want to make a game and sell massively on Steam. Just go ahead. Start today. No problem. Well, it might be a problem selling massive, but you can start today working on it. Are you planning on adding fireworks? Well, yes, I hope to be able to add some more fireworks in the core game before the big release at the end of the year. But I will actually build some fireworks now, but not in the core game, but in a mod. But you'll see. So let's get to it. Oh, so we are 18 people today. Let me check something here. Okay, so let's see here. This will be very technical, so if you are not this might be interesting if you don't have anything know about game development, but it also be very technical. I'm assuming this is not a tutorial on how to build it. I'm more kind of sharing, how I'm building it, so the ones of you who have technical knowledge and want to do mods can at least see how I'm doing it, and whenever I run into problems, which I will most likely do, how I fix it. But let's see how far we go. For now, I have created an empty repository on my GitHub. It's private, so you can't access it yet. There's nothing in it, so and it's checked out on my machine here, so I can start actually build a Unity project. So let's start with that. Let's start making a new Unity project, because this is how it all starts. The question is, what should we call it? Because it needs to be something with fireworks. Naming is always hard. And this is the name of the repository. Sample. But that will be double. let's see. That was not it. So we'll be creating in there. Yeah, for now I'll just call it this. The name can be changed later on, that's no problem. But I will create a 3D vanilla empty Unity project. Hopefully it's picking the right version, but else we just upgrade. So let's see. Kel'Thuzar is mostly listening, no problem. And nice, hope Jax plays this game again. Yeah, that would be nice if he could play it around New Year's Eve or something like that. That would be funny to see his reaction to to the septic guy in the sky. Let's do like this while it loads, so you can see my pretty face while I scrape out the last of my foamed milk. The tool is called Unity. I need to learn from master. Well, if you are thinking about me as a master, I'm not master teacher. So, you know, my channel and what I'm doing here is not so much, you know, teaching Unity. There are tons of channels out there to learn Unity, like Brackies and a lot of other. Just Google, you know, get started with Unity. There's tons of tutorials out there. So my channel is not about teaching Unity. Well, this stream is about teaching how to build or showing how to build mods. The teaching videos about building mods will come whenever it's ready. But my channel is more about showing you a person, me in this case, actually building a game. And that is actually possible, because many game devs have this idea that, you know, they need to get to the point where they can go full time to create their game, and they bet everything on it, and that's fine if you are young and live at home and stuff like that. No problem, because then it's pretty easy to do that. But it's not easy to build a game, but it's easy to spend all your time on it. But some of us are a little older and have family and job and wife and all that. So yeah, so so that's I'm just trying and showing that it is actually possible if you are kind of consistent and don't burn out. And I also have I've learned how to not burn out, you can say, but that's some other videos, which is not really for now. But yeah. So La Weapon says that here, dude, boom. That is 15 years of head scratching for not being able to make a game. Hello, Leah. Using your mom's account. And we have Rob Lang here. Hello. Rob Lang said some of us are a little older and some of us are a little older than a little older. Yeah. But so, and you have kind of not the same hair, but we have kind of, as I remember, kind of the same haircut. Anyway, I'm just trying to show how, you know, my journey of building a game, and that you don't have to be a funny YouTuber like Danny to do videos and build a game, basically. Build a fairly successful game also. Anyway, enough about that. So what is it? Okay, now do you use any visual coding? No, I'm a developer by my day job, so this visual coding is not really me. It doesn't make sense in my head. I'm more kind of a coding guy. Why is it breaking? Somebody wrote something that breaks up the chat completely. Let's see if it can. Okay, and then I lost all the chat message. Perfect. Kenneth says that the game starts to use more processing power. Well, starts to, when was that? Because the game haven't been updated for a while. So if it's changed like recently, and you are on the normal track, you could say, well, it could be related to your graphics drivers. I have tried that myself. I had a point where when I recorded or streamed and was in Unity, it was lagging completely crazy when I upgraded to the latest graphics driver. And then I downgraded to kind of half a year earlier, and then it was fine again. And then later on I could upgrade because they fixed whatever bug there was. So if it suddenly starts to be weird, it's most likely some drivers on your end, because yeah, the game haven't been updated and it's not like changing on its own. Yep, it's streamlined. I guess, Rob, your streamline comment is here. It's to avoid, you know, air, what is it called? Friction. When I'm headbanging. Anyway, well, the Fireworks Mania is very successful. Yeah, it is. It's compared to the majority of indie games, it's very successful, yeah. And I'm very happy about it. No doubt about it. That's also why I keep working on it, because it's really fun to do and a lot of people are enjoying it, so why not? Why not continue? Anyway, enough talk. So we are here in a completely vanilla Unity. Let's start off by doing an initial commit, because that's a very good comment to put in there. It's not really, but I put it in there. While it loads, let me give you a little other thing. If you are, I guess maybe this only goes out to Rob Lang. But if there are any other developers out there, one thing you should think about that I have a hard time doing myself too, but when you are committing to a source control system, instead of putting in the comment what you did, put in, because most of the time you can see that, like, you know, change the color to blue, for instance, for something. Well, you can see that in the code most likely, but what you should put in there is why you did it. You know, change it to blue because blah 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 blah, something like that. But and you just, well, initial commit is kind of a bad example, because, and it's hard to do this, but down the road when you look back on your history, it actually makes good sense. But just a little dev tip. Kenneth says, yeah, it could be the drivers. Okay. Oh, is it? Ah, damn it! It's because it's taking in library. Damn it. Okay, first problem here. Because I'm an idiot. When you start up a project, again, this is not a tutorial. I'm just showing you and telling you what I'm doing. The thing is that this git ignore, for some reason, even though it have this, it really enjoys including the library, even though the git ignore tells us not to. I guess something with the path. So let me quickly go in and look at my other one here. Yeah, let's just take this. Not this one. Because it's really annoying. I should basically just remove the first backslash. But the thing is, it includes too much in the source control. We don't want the library folder in there, because it's just runtime. It's build stuff that will be generated anyway. So let's do initial commit again. God, it takes a while. Comic says, Mania, make a foxy holder. Foxy holder? What is that? And Daniel says, hello, thank you for making an amazing game. Thank you for buying it, and I'm happy you're enjoying it. I agree, I use GitHub projects so I can tag the issue number. Yeah. Then I can see the issue and call it. Yes, exactly. Putting in the issue number is also very good. I'm actually, when I'm doing the normal versioning, I use the projects on GitHub, and there I'm also using issues to do what you're saying, Rob. But while doing this, why is it so freaking slow? Okay, there it was. But while doing this development of the mod support, which I have in a branch, of course, and then I release from there, I can maybe briefly show it. In there, I just have one project called 21 feature mod support, and then I just put in here you can see 21.9.6, that is the version, and then everything after that is in that version until I do a new one of these up here. So this is my quick way of doing this, of keeping track of my versions and stuff like that. And because I'm just using these cards in here and not issues, I cannot do that where I, do the hashtag and then the number to kind of associate the commit with an issue. So, okay, it's checked in now. So we have a vanilla Unity here, nothing, very, very basic, no problems. Now I will not show you this completely because yeah, it's still under development, so I don't want anybody to rush in there, but I can first of all yeah, to do mods. Again, this is not a tutorial, I'm just showing you how I'm doing it. In this there will be tutorials and there will be a guide and everything, but one thing that the mod tools require, and I'm starting a little backwards here, but is that it depends on something called DoTween. So we need to install DoTween, and there's a free version of that somewhere. Hello. Yes, DoTween here. So let's just import this version and not upgrade at this point. And if there are any closed beta testers in here and are a little confused about why I'm doing this in the opposite direction, it's because I'm thinking of changing the guide because it makes sense to install the dependencies first and then end up installing the fireworks Mania mod tools. But anyway, let's see here. Again, you guys don't need to remember any of this. There will be tutorials, guides, blah, 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 blah. I'm just here for chilling, showing you how it looks right now, or how it works right now. The only person I saw when there was online school, the only live stream I saw was your, cause it's so funny and interesting. Oh, thank you, Green. Thank you. I'm not on a Danny level funny, but I'm trying to learn how to translate my in-person funniness to video and live stream, because it's not the same. I'm actually a pretty funny person in real life, but it's really hard to get the same across on in a video and stuff like that. Sounds weird, but it is. Anyway, the next thing we need, so now we have this DoTween in, that's fine. The next thing we need is another open source project called Unitask. We just install that by doing this. So there's two dependencies right now. I would like to have one of them to be not, so you didn't have to put that in, but it's apparently not possible. I don't know, Rob, if you know that, but the problem is I've made my own. I have a Git repository that I use in the package manager, just like this, just like I just installed this Unitask here. Why is it not? Oh, okay. Remove that. So you can see I have an external reference to this basically just a Git repository, and with a file in there, a project file, you can do a package like this. The problem is Unity do not support these to be updated manually, automatically, sorry. And the other problem is you cannot have dependencies, because I would like to have in my package here, just like you can in NuGet, I would like to have, you know, my package depend on this package and the other do-tween thing. But the problem is that Unity is transferring from product store, from asset store to this this new package manager thing, and things are not really aligned, and yeah, it's not working super well. But I think it's the right way for me to do it this way, because I think this is the way it will work in the future. So I have two dependencies in my mod tools right now. One is this unitask, and the other one is do-tween. And when these are installed, I can go ahead and install, and let me do like this, so you can't see it fully. Not that it's super secret, but I don't want a lot of people to start asking questions about stuff because it's too early. So basically now I'm installing the Fireworks Mania mod tool, and then we can start do stuff. Why is there something locked in the game, some of the fireworks? Mellemlyn, it's just for fun. It was some way to try and put in a little more fun and excitement and discovery things in a sandbox game. I might come up with something funnier later or something a little more entertaining, but it was just to try out the mechanics and see how it works. Okay, so now I have the Fireworks Mania tools installed. Okay, so let's check that in. So now we can say added unitask, do-tween, and FM mod tools. Version 2.9.6. Boom. Because now we can start doing stuff. So for building mods for this game requires you to know something about Unity. Let me just check the chat quickly. You can convert project nodes to issues and then stay in the project. Yeah, I know you can convert it, but the thing is, I'm having a lot of these cards, and it's some of them are basically just small notes to myself because I know what to do because I'm one person, so I don't have to communicate a lot. I have it in here. And in this rapid development of a new big feature that like mod support, I'm just using these cards because I learned over time that is the quickest way for me to do it. Because as you know, it's a spare time project, so all the time I can cut without, you know, sacrificing quality. I do. So figuring all these shortcuts and way to speed up things is the way to go. And this is where I am. Using these cards. Rob Lang says, cool, I like the external references. I didn't know you could do that. Yeah, it's pretty nice that you can do this. The problem is it's not supported really super well in Unity, but it is coming. I saw some comments that I think it's actually in the next version. I think this is 2021. Can I do this? Am I such a big yes? Oh my god, I'm so a pro. So this is 2021 1.19. So I'm in the wrong version, but we'll figure out. We will see what to do about that in a moment. But anyway, I think it was in 2021 2. I saw a comment saying that this thing about package. Oh, you can't see it. Oh, freaking. Okay, it doesn't matter. Anyway. That in 21.2 they should start supporting that when you have a package like this, a Git repository package, it should somehow auto-detect updates and automatically update itself, just like other packages, or at least, you know, notify that there is an update, and then the user can just click and update. That would be very nice, because right now you have to add it again to update it. Basically just go in and add the link again, and then it will fetch the new version and download that. So it works okay, but it's a silly step to take. And in this project JSON file, it actually have a dependencies tag, but you cannot point to other Git repositories, which is, they say it's for some security reasons, but it's just like it works for for NuGet and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a little annoying. Rob Lang says, oh, so it's not a full package manager. It's a shame. Yeah, it's really a shame. But I think they are working on it. It seems like they are working on, and that's also why I'm going this route, because I think this is how it will work in the future. So let's start with that. In my mind, I would like it to work in this way, so I'm kind of, you know, forcing it this way. Okay, so now we have a vanilla Unity. We have the two dependencies and the mod tools, and this mod tools gives us some new gives us a new menu up here where we can do stuff. So first of all, but we will see that when we try to build a mod, it will complain about the Unity version. So right now I'm just going out and starting up again in the newest version, which is 22, because I know it will complain about that later anyway. What I'm also planning to do actually in this sample project is to include the Blender file with the models. So you can also learn from that and see, okay, this is how I can't say I'm doing it right because I'm a Blender noob, but you can at least see how I have done it. And so far that works pretty okay. And what? Stop complaining. Just to name one thing, for performance reasons, almost all the fireworks in the game use the same material, because then it can do some instancing and yeah, it performs better that way. What? Exit save mode. Yeah, come on. Oh, I think I need to. Let's stand up. Please stand up. Whoop. Yes, Melmlyn, you can unlock the right now it's a temporary unlock, so that means it goes away when you restart the map. But I'm considering changing that. Let's see. Why so annoying here today? Let's just see if it runs here. Oh, that's another thing. In the Unity here, in the modders Unity, you will be able to see the effects, but you won't be able to hear sounds. You won't be able to try things out. Unity is just kind of an editor to set up things. You have to then build your mod and then try it in the game. But hopefully we'll get to that later. So that was it. Let's sit down, upgrade it to Unity, boom. And then I should put in Y, but yeah, that's what I said. It's a good idea, rule of thumb to keep in mind. It's not always easy to do. That rule of typing in why you did something and not what you did. Anyway, so now it's getting standing desk. That's weird to watch. It's still going. Where's the ceiling? Oh god. I'm 192, so I'm pretty tall, but I'm in a basement. That's why the ceiling is right here. So I'm actually pretty tall. Okay, so now we are. Let's maybe go. So if we take a look here in the packages, we can see that no, let's first do something else. The thing is, the first thing we have to do is we have to create a little. Maybe I can I be? I don't know how. The problem is when I zoom like this, I cannot see how you see it. But let's hope yeah, it looks better for you this way. So I'll create a folder called mods, and in that I will do the mods basically. In a Unity project like this, you can have multiple mods in one instance here, or in one Unity. So when you start doing mods, I think I will recommend you to just have one project and then have multiple mods in that, because then you don't have to set all these references, all these dependencies and all that every time. So I created a folder called mods, and I can go in here and create a new mod. And we can pick a folder, which will be mods. I don't know if I can, I've actually never tried this. This might be a bad time testing it, but I would like it to be relative instead of specific, because then it won't work on others' machines, I guess. So now we need a mod name. So let's call that Mania underscore sample mod. Yeah. Let's call it that. Mania sample mod. Yeah, we'll try that. So everything we put in this folder basically will get into our mod. What we can also do is we can set up export settings here, and we can set up some different things. We can name the mod. We can give it a version. You can version it like however you want. I kind of have started to like this version of doing it, because the problem with this 1.0 kind of indicates that it's kind of done at some point, and usually a lot of things software wise is never done, and keeps developing. So I'll just usually give it a year, a month, and then what release or build for that month it is. So that way you can also see how old a release is. So I set this up. I go into the build. I set for file size because else it takes up way too much. And yeah, go to that. Okay, great start. We can always go in and change this later on. So now you're thinking, okay, how do I move on? What do? I don't know anything. Well, good that somebody put a sample stuff in here. So down in the packages here, we have Fireworks Mania, we have mod samples. So these are mod samples, as I mentioned in the beginning, inside the mod tools, and you can use them for the thing I'm doing now, to see the names of the folders. You can basically do however you want to organize this. I like doing it this way. You can change it if you want. But there is something, of course, that is required. But that's not the naming of the folders. You can do whatever you want. So let's do first a folder called definitions. And let's take a look at what that is. Definitions, yes. And if we look in the sample mod here, you can see there are a cake underscore dummy cake and a rocket underscore dummy rocket. These definitions are basically metadata around a piece of stuff in the inventory. In this case, a cake and a rocket. It could also be property. It could also be a prop. And in the future, it could most likely be other stuff too. But this is specific for inventory stuff. So we need this kind of definition of a piece of fireworks. So we can take a look again at this one, we'll do our own in a moment. But if we look at it, we can see we have an ID. That ID is very important that you don't change that. You can change it, but remember that this ID is used, for instance, for identifying this this piece of fireworks in a blueprint. So if you change this ID after you release your mod, bam, then you break people that have used your fireworks in a blueprint. So that ID should not change after you created it once. Then there is a reference to a prefab. That's the actual piece of fireworks spawned in the game. That is where all the logic is and the effect and all that stuff. And then there's a name. That's what shows up in the inventory. And then there's an icon. Then there's some unlockable you should forget about because that will be removed. And then there is a type where you kind of specify what type this piece of fireworks is. In this case, a cake. So that is kind of the basics for adding a piece of fireworks to the inventory. So let's go in here and create Fireworks Mania definitions. I wish I could not have these in here, but I haven't found a way to do that, so I just called internal, so you don't click that, hopefully, because what we want is a firework entity definition. And let's call that, I think I will prefix it with my author name. It doesn't really matter here. Well, it matters here because, as you will see in a moment, the ID is typically the same name as the file. So let's build a rocket. So let's Mania rocket, and let's call it something something stupid. What should we call it? I don't even know how it will look. It's just a sample thing, so we could call it. We could also just call it sample. Mania rocket. Let's call it Neptune. And then let's make it blue or something like that. We'll just do like this. It doesn't really matter right now. So now you can see we have this definition over here to the right. And I made a little method so you can set ID to be file name. So then it basically just takes the file name. That's the easiest way to do. Then we also start getting some errors here, and that's because stuff is missing over here. So let's call this Neptune, and let's decide it's a and here we cannot see anything because we need to click this off. So we can see things from packages, and then we can pick rocket. We don't have any sprite yet to the icon, so let's forget about that. So we have the ID, we are missing this one, we have the name, we're missing this one, and we have set this one. So this will keep complaining because we don't have a prefab. So just to satisfy this one and don't see all these errors, let's start by creating a prefab. It can be empty to start with, so let's start with doing that. So let's do this. Let's create a prefab. And the way again, this requires you to have some knowledge about how Unity works. So we call this Mania rocket Neptune. I might regret that name later on, but we just have it now. So basically like this, and then we can drag it. Whoops. We can drag it down here, and then basically we have a prefab. This one don't have any type for that prefab, so it can be anything. So we can just, oh, we can't, or what? Oh, we cannot, sorry. We have to do like this. Boom. So we can clear these errors here, and now we shouldn't get any errors because it's missing something, because now the definition is actually fulfilled. It have a name, it have everything except the sprite, but it's not required. So, Vexa says, I'm in a game jam. The theme is illusion, but I don't know what I should make. I have 3 days. Good luck. I actually never been in a jam because I never had time to do that. But maybe somebody in the chat can kind of tip in. Okay. So that's the prefab. Let's remove that here. Okay. So now the definition is set up and we have the prefab, but the prefab is kind of not doing anything. Let's just move this over here a bit closer to each other. The reason I'm dragging this one up so high, I normally don't have that, but it's because if I go down here, everything that I show in the project pane here is kind of behind my face and you can't see it. So I'll do something like this even though it looks a little weird. Okay, so we open up the prefab because now we actually need to kind of build a piece of fireworks. And you have no idea how to start with this. So therefore, somebody created a sample mod down here. Again, this is the sample mods in the mod tools, so you can look at this inside, the Unity where you are creating your mod. But this mod I'm building is a full project that you can look at later on and see how the full mod is set up, if that makes sense. I guess this might not make sense to very many people at this point, but anyway, we can now, let's maybe do like this. So we can do various things, but we can drag in this rocket, dummy rocket here, and then we can have a look at what it have. And you can see it have a rocket behavior, which have some fields that needs to be filled in with stuff. We have a rigid body, a capsule, some collider stuff, play sound on impact, safe entity, and erasable behavior. So these are some of well, the rocket behavior is kind of, the bare bones, so we cannot leave that out. So let's maybe start with that. I can also just, I'm just showing you where you can actually see how it works, because I know how it works, so I can just put it in. But I also need to look sometimes. Anyway, let's open up our prefab and let's start with the fireworks mania, behaviors, fireworks, and rocket behavior. So again, we get a lot of errors because we are missing to fill out some stuff over here. First of all, it needs an entity definition. That's the one we created before over here. So we can actually drag that over. Boom. Then this rocket knows that it's a part of this entity. I don't like that double reference, but I haven't figured out a better way of doing it. Yeah, and it's because sometimes I need the reference to one way when I load stuff, and when I save stuff, I need the other way. So anyway, that's just how it is. So you need to satisfy this one with a little entity definition. Then needs a fuse. We cannot do anything about that right now. Model, thruster, blah, 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 blah. Okay. We also get, because this one requires it, we get an erasable behavior and we get a rigid body. So let's put a little weight on this one. Let's say 2. I usually just do like this, but you can do whatever you want. Please don't set these to anything different. So it's super crazy collision wise, because then we will have some performance issues. Savable entities, don't worry about it. It's just there to be able to save and load this one, basically save this piece of fireworks in a blueprint in the future. Okay. So let me just show you how we usually do it. So what I usually do is that I create we can also you know what, let's say we couldn't remember this. We can just drag in this one. It's a little weird because now we have a prefab in a prefab, but then you can see the structure here. So we have our thruster here. We can copy that. So we have that. We can take the model here. Not really, but do like that. And we can take the explosion and copy up here. Boom. So now we just basically copied stuff from this sample. And that means even though this one we cannot use, we need our own model, but what we can do is now we can start to fulfill these things with a fuse. So the fuse goes here. And now you think, what is this? It's just this blue thingy with blah, 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 blah. Well, this prefab here is actually inside the Fireworks Mania mod tools, because I have some prefabs down here, some effects that I will over time make a little more better named and stuff like that. But there are some different parts that you need to use, like a fuse, a thruster, and and that's basically what you need. The other ones are there for to be fulfilled by these. But anyway, so, and there is actually, if you zoom in here, you can see we have this guy here. That model here comes from it's a model I created, and that's the one included in the mod tools. And it's a little confused I can hear. But anyway, okay, it needs a fuse. We dragged in the fuse from here to here, and then we need the model down here. That's just a game object. I don't know if I put a tooltip on that. No, I haven't yet. But the thing is, when a rocket explodes, it needs to hide the model and show the explosion. So therefore, we need to send it a reference so it knows what to hide. It also needs a thruster because it's a rocket, and we have a prefab with that here. We can change it. We can also do our own, but I just included these prefabs to make it easier for you guys to create the mods, or at least get started. And then we have an explosion, and if we open that up, we can see there is an effect. And if we go away a little, so we go out here. So here you can see the effect. Just a basic effect, and you can change that, but we will just start with that one for now. So we drag in the explosion here, boom. And that's of course the explosion when the rocket goes boom. Are you doing Halloween stuff? No, I don't plan to do Halloween stuff because I won't have time. I'm so busy with this mod support thing, and hopefully while that is being tested by modders and stuff like that on the experimental branch a little later in the year, I will hopefully have spent my time building some new stuff in the core game, or some new features, some new, yeah, there's a lot of stuff I would like to add to the game. So let's see how quick or far I can go with that. Okay, so we actually have this prefab here. We have this one or this one. That's all good. The only problem we have with this current mod we have here is that we are using the rocket from the mod tools, and I'm not 100% sure that is not, well, it might work, but you know, yeah, we can try with that. Let's try with that first, and let's see what's going on. The thing I can see that is missing is some colliders, because just having if we just put this in the game now, it will just fall through the ground because it have no colliders. So let's do a quick capsule collider here. So let's do like, and it's really annoying with these freaking 3D things. So we need to have a, whoops, damn it. Let me just check something. Yep. So we need to have a collider here on the fireworks. And up here. But I'm not gonna spend too much time on this, because we will change it anyway when we get to create our own model. But we'll have a capsule collider around the body of it there, and then we will just take a box collider and put on the little stick here, just to keep it simple. Oh my god, it's really hard to see. Something like that. Again, right now it doesn't have to be super accurate, because I will change it anyway. It's just so it doesn't fall through the ground. So here. So now we have colliders on this, and this is very important. Well, the colliders don't have to be on the root level, but if you don't have any colliders on the root level, you at least need to have a collider that is close, well, as close as possible to the model, and then have it as trigger, so it doesn't collide, but it can still interact with raycast. And the reason for that is that I'm using raycast to pick this up and stuff like that when you need to pick it up and you need to ignite it. So if there's no colliders on the root level here, it won't work. Okay. I also know that we have something called play sound on impact. We also want that, because that will play a sound, funny enough, on impact. And I know we have a default medium impact here. Boom. Sadly, these sounds here, you cannot hear them in this Unity version, no, in the mod tool. You can only hear them because the sounds are not in here. They are only in the full game. But I plan to somehow make it possible in the game to, you know, see these lines so you can hear the sound in the game. So you know, okay, I need this one, and then you can go and find it in this list. Most likely will be some kind of developer console where you can like type play sound and then pick between all these. And that's at least my goal. But you can't do that right now. So yeah, right now you just have to guess and trial and error. Right now I'm just picking this because it's called impact general medium, so might be an impact sound. And that's just that's just the one. This component is just keeping track of if the object is hitting something, and then plays a sound if it does. Plays this sound if it does. So I think we might actually be there for now. But this is very, very simple because we haven't done our own model or anything. We did our own. Go in here, get our own definition, which is set up correctly, and then we have the prefab right here. Okay, so let's see if it works. I'm as excited as you are. So for the export directory, this is where we are going to build our mod. Our mod is basically it's one file with a .mod extension, as you will see in a moment. What I typically do is that because it's faster for testing, I build it directly to the Still this. You can also delete this. I built it. This is, if you look here, this is actually the path to the Fireworks Mania storage thing on your machine. So this is where blueprints are located, for instance, which I apparently have none of. Oh, that's because I need to select the folder. But anyway, that is where blueprints are located. There is a folder called mods. That is local mods. These are loaded before mods from mod.io, which is the mod.io is yeah, okay, you don't know that, but the mod integration I ended up, well, I'm using right now, and I most likely will end up using, is something called mod.io. Totally Accurate Battle Simulator, Deep Rock Galactic, and other games like that use that. Normally you would pick, being on Steam, you would pick the workshop, because that's obvious choice. But as in my research, as one YouTuber said, well, the benefits of Steam Workshop starts and end with it being integrated in Steam. So what does that mean? Well, the benefit of Steam Workshop is that it's built in Unity, in Steam. So Steam users are used to it, and it's integrated. From what I know, it's pretty hard to integrate with as a developer. It's not very easy to do. Also, from my own personal experience with mods on Steam and the workshop, it's terrible. It's really odd way of doing it. You have to go on Steam and subscribe and then hope it downloads the mod. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And you place a cache somewhere, and then it puts it somewhere else, and then it takes up a lot of space. And to me, it's really odd. So, and another downside about the Steam Workshop is that, yes, Fireworks Mania is only on Steam now. But what if I wanted to put it on Epic? What if I wanted to put it on Nintendo Switch? Or what if I wanted to sell it in some other store or whatever? Then mods would never be supported there, because none of them can access the Steam Workshop. So that's basically why I have so far decided to go with this mod.io, and that works. I can show it in a moment, but it works like it's an in-game mod browser where you just subscribe to mods, and then it downloads the files, and then it loads it when you start up a map. So it was I did the integration with it like in 2 hours, 3 hours or something like that. Right now it's just the default UI. I haven't done anything to make it look like the game as such. But that part is kind of easy peasy. It's more getting things to work that is interesting. So anyway, that was a long talk about these folders. So this one is where the mods.io folder mods go in. You don't want to go there. And the mods folder is the local mods. So when building a mod and you want to test it in the game, I would suggest you just build it straight to the mods folder, because then it will just build your file straight to there, and you can just start up the game and it should load the mod. So let's see if we get any errors. You never know. Is it possible to make in the future a timeline so we can make shows on time? You can right now with okay, while it loads, let's do this. You can actually time it with the different fuses. The problem is you cannot see the time right now, and that's of course annoying, and many have requested that. So there are different ways of solving that. My initial thought of how to solve it quickly with the fuses we have is that there could be some kind of UI that shows, okay, this fuse will take 3.7 seconds, and then you can move it, till it says 4 seconds if that's what you want, and then it's 4 seconds. So some way of seeing how long time the fuse will take will make it a lot easier for you to time stuff, correctly. Elizabeth says best move for a game like this is to open up most codes of mod making. Yep, great move. Yeah, it was the most requested thing, and it makes super much sense in a sandbox game like this. Mass mods. It's nice that it's October soon here in Denmark. Gonna be so nice. It's nice that it's October. Ah, now it's soon. New Year's Eve, I guess, here in Denmark. Yeah, yeah. No pressure on making the game ready, but besides that, yeah. Okay, so we can see here, mod successfully built. And so if I could start up the game from Steam, but I'll just start it up in Unity. It works in the same way, but here I can just easier see some logs, and I can see how things are put together, how things work and stuff like that. But I could start up the normal game, and you can also in the log file there see if there is a problem with your mod, if something is missing or something. So yeah, Matthias, no pressure. It's New Year, just around the corner. So I built a mod. It put we can just so you can see it here. It put a mod in the mod file here in the folder saying Mania sample mod. That was what we called it. .mod. It looks like the icon looks like a little video, but it won't play like a video. So down here we can see. Hopefully we can see. Yeah, we can see here. I don't know if it's you can see loaded mod, Mania sample mod, author Mania. Oh, that's me. Mod version, blah 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 blah. We can see what version of Unity is built in, stuff like that. So now we can go into the inventory, and we can. It was a rocket, so we can go in here and we can see Neptune, which was the rocket we made. Also, you will notice a new thing. Whoops. That pretty quickly became necessary when people started adding mods, because we were running out of space. So it have a scroll now. Anyway, another note here is that I will change this. So right now the modded fireworks is just, put in together with the built-in fireworks. I like to separate that out. So there will be a new tab up here called community or workshop or mods or something like that, and then everything coming in from mods will be in there, so it's easy for a player to distinguish what is built in and what is mod. Also for my own sake, so when people do bad mods, it's pretty easy to see that it's coming from a mod and it's not my fault. But anyway, now it's just put together in here. So we have this Neptune thingy, goes in here, and we can put him down, boom 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 boom, and we can also take a look at this little funny guy with the eyes. Woohoo! And we can also see, and this has actually been it's a bug that was fixed recently, that this fuse thing was not working, but it's working now. So this is our new mod coming. We just built this mod. You just saw me build this rocket. So let's see if he works. He did. Perfect. And just to, if you are interested in seeing how it currently works with this mod.io, again, no promises. You are watching some early on stuff, so things can change a lot. But how it works right now is that you, in the main menu, can click a workshop button and then pick mods. I actually saw one of the mods were updated, so I might want to try that out and see if it works now. But to be fair, I just released the new mod tools right before starting the stream, so I'm pretty sure you haven't had a chance to update it. So yeah, so basically you can see here that that's better, right? So like that. So here you can see there's a workshop now, and you can go in here, and we have too many fireworks here. We have this. I can see this picture is updated. He also even included a video. Nice, very nice. Let's try that. Oh, that's subscribe. Okay, there is a bug currently where it doesn't update mods, and this one is my mod, but it's an old one. But the mod you just saw me build will eventually end up in a mod here, so people can see, this mod, and then a link to where it's located on GitHub, so we can actually see how it's built. Let's just subscribe to this again, and then see it downloading here. Palm Rocket again. Bear with him. Maybe it doesn't work because again, it might be built with some older tools, so I'm not sure that they work, but let's try. Yeah, Matthias, but you cannot, the one I just built, you can't of course yet, but I saw this one was updated. So let's see. And it was these palm rockets. Oh, that's new. Okay. Okay, let's take a look. This is new to me too. I know these rockets were not working before. There was a bug with the fuse, but let's see. Oh, nice. Was there more? We can also take these. I think these are made by. That was the first one. Yeah, and then I have this one. I didn't create this model, but I created the rocket here just to test stuff out. We have this one, and I guess that's it. We also have. I made a cake, which is just a box, and I also think. We have this doghouse from last time, and we have this little Minecraft-like thing, just to show that you can also do props, not only fireworks. Okay, so let's try this one. This was the first cake in the game. Looked like that. Look at the effect. Be amazed. Whoa. Yeah, that's a winner for sure. And again, I can't take credit for this rocket here. I didn't build that. I built the effect and put it in here, but I didn't do the model. Oh, let's help it up here. Okay. Oops. Hello. Again, the effect is not very good, but it was just like testing it out. But let's try these. These are new. I have seen these two, but I haven't seen these. So let's see if they work. Whoa. This is some new stuff you're seeing here. This is the first time I see this too. Nice. Yeah, the sound, I guess the sound is pretty low now because I turned it down, but okay, pretty cool. Very well done. Let's see what happens if we just... I always do this to see how it performs. But yeah, I'm running several versions of Unity and I'm streaming and whoa, nice. Little laggy, but it's fair enough. I have two Unity running. I'm streaming, I'm recording, I have my camera on. So nice, okay. Okay, so our mod worked. So now we're going back to the mod thing here. Let's say add first Neptune rocket sample. Missing model. Because that's the next step I will do. I will create a new, I'll create a Blender file and then actually do a rocket to show. So that's also included in this sample mod, so we can see, again, as I said in the beginning, how it's UV'd and yeah, textured, stuff like that. So let me check something and you can look at my face meanwhile and ask questions if there are any. Where is it there? Need to check something here. So that was a good start. I think we will end it off with this. This. So basically what we did here was we created a first little mod, which was a rocket. But I will continue on this project. So most likely next time I stream, I will continue on this project doing a model and all that. Try making a mod. Well, you maybe was a little too late because I just did. That was kind of what I did in this stream. But I think I will start to close down now because it's 6 o'clock and we need to get some food and stuff like that. So it was a good start. I created, from scratch, vanilla Unity, installed the mod tools and the dependencies. Then we created, we went through the bare bone, what is it called? The pieces to put together a mod, a simple mod of a rocket. So we actually have our own rocket now in a mod that we could put on mod.io, but I wouldn't recommend it in this state because, as you saw, we were using the model from the sample mods in the mod tools, and I don't recommend that because if everybody do the same thing, I don't know if I will conclude. No, I guess somebody else will most likely do some bunch of models that people can use or something like that. But I will do my own model for this, so to show in the model in these samples. So yeah. So I think that would be it for today. That's pretty good. So I released a new version before I started streaming, and then started up on this mod sample thing. I have another project with this, but this is a new empty one, created with the thing in mind that it have to go, and be open source and accessible for everybody. Yeah, so that's it. Damn salutes, you can see that much good for Danish police. If it was real life, yeah. What do you build? Characters? Well, I built not built the first mod, but I built the first mod in a project that I will put on GitHub that future modders can have a look at. Fireworks absolute favorite game. I'm playing it every day. That's cool. Let me see your name. I'm so bad at names. If you are regular here, you know I'm really bad at names. So I'm just saying O here. OT. Thank you for that. I can code and stuff, even though I don't have the game kind of. Oh, just a second. And he's back, but soon he is out. Even though an bad names. Even though I can code and stuff, and even though I don't have a game, I kind of wanna try making a mod. Yeah, but feel free to try, but don't do it yet. Again, as I said, this is not a tutorial, and this is under development, so you can't even do this yet, and you cannot test it or anything. So don't do it yet. But at some point in the future, I guess this will be put on the experimental branch, but I will make a video and announcement on Steam and stuff like that about that, so you can actually try it out. You can both try out building mods, but you can also try out other people's mods. Pizza slice. We are actually gonna have pizza today, so nice. Not gonna want to try and make a mod, but I can code. But actually, you don't have to. Okay, I see you say bye now, so you might be gone. But anyway, for everybody else, it is actually possible to make a piece of fireworks this way. As you just saw, I didn't code any lines, so you can do custom coding, but that's much more advanced thing. But you can drag and drop and put things. Of course, you have to know how things work, and you have to know how to, what to put where, and a little about how Unity works. But you don't have to code to be able to do a